I'll never forget that crisp autumn morning when everything changed. My name is Michael Harris, and at 47 years old, I thought I had it all figured out. I was a successful real estate developer with a beautiful home, 2 kids in college, and a wife named Sarah, who I'd been married to for 23 years. From the outside, my life looked perfect, but inside, I was drowning. I don't know what drove me to Pastor Sam's church that day. Maybe it was the emptiness that woke me up every morning. Maybe it was the feeling that I was just going through the motions, building a life I didn't even want to live. Whatever it was, I found myself driving my silver pickup truck down that dusty road in Tennessee, parking outside a small church where an old pastor had spent 60 years counseling the lost and the broken. I walked in, my expensive leather shoes echoing against the wooden floor. Pastor Sam was sitting in the front pew, reading his worn Bible, morning light streaming through the stained glass windows and painting colors across his weathered face. "Pastor Sam," I said, my voice carrying a weight I couldn't quite explain, "I need to know something. How is a man supposed to live? I mean, really live? I've got everything I ever wanted, but I feel empty." He closed his Bible slowly and looked up at me with those deep, knowing eyes. "Come here, son," he said softly. "Step into the light. Let me look at you." I walked forward, confused but curious. The old pastor studied my face for a long moment, and then his expression grew serious, almost sorrowful. "Michael," he said quietly, "I've seen many faces in my years, and what I see in yours troubles me deeply. You have 7 days left to live." Those words hit me like a freight train. My knees went weak. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. 7 days? I whispered. "That's impossible. I just had a physical. My doctor said I was fine." "Some things doctors can't see," Pastor Sam said gently. "Now go. Live these 7 days however you choose, and if you want to know how to truly live, come back to me on the 7th day." I stumbled out of that church in a daze. I sat in my truck for an hour, just staring at the steering wheel, my whole world crumbling around me. 7 days, 168 hours. That was all I had left. And then something shifted inside me. I thought about my brother, Tommy, who I hadn't spoken to in 5 years over a stupid argument about our father's inheritance. I thought about my business partner, Dave, who I'd cheated out of a fair share of profits back in 2015. I thought about Sarah, my wife, who had been asking for more of my time, more of my attention, more of my heart, and how I'd always said, "Later, honey, I'm busy." There would be no more later. That afternoon, I drove to Tommy's house. He answered the door with suspicion in his eyes, but I didn't give him time to speak. I pulled my brother into a hug so tight it squeezed out years of silence and resentment. "I'm sorry," I said, breaking. "I'm so sorry for everything. The money didn't matter. You mattered, and I chose wrong." Tommy stood frozen for a moment. Then his arms slowly wrapped around me, and we both wept like children in that doorway. The next few days became a whirlwind of healing. I called Dave and confessed everything, the hidden profits, the manipulated contracts, all of it. I wrote him a check for every penny I owed, plus interest. He was speechless, but eventually he said 4 words that lifted a boulder off my chest. "I forgive you, brother." I went home and sat with my children, Emma and Jack, who had come home from college when I called and told them I needed to see them. I didn't tell them about the 7 days. Instead, I told them stories. Stories about their grandfather, stories about their mother when she was young, stories about my own failures and what I'd learned from them. "Dad," Emma said with tears in her eyes, "why have you never talked to us like this before?" I smiled sadly, because I was too busy building a life to actually live one. And Sarah, oh, my Sarah. That night I took her hands in mine and looked into her eyes, really looked for the first time in years.
"I haven't been the husband you deserved," I said. "You asked for my heart, and I gave you a schedule. You asked for my presence, and I gave you presents. I'm sorry. Whatever time I have left, I want to spend it loving you the way I should have all along." She cried. We held each other all night, talking about dreams we'd forgotten, laughing about memories we'd buried, falling in love all over again. On the morning of the 7th day, I woke up feeling something I hadn't felt in decades. Peace. My heart was light. My conscience was clear. I had made things right with everyone I'd wronged. I had told the people I loved that I loved them. I had prayed more in the past week than I had in the past 10 years. But there was one more thing I needed to do. I drove back to Pastor Sam's church. "Pastor," I said, walking in with a calm smile, "I'm ready. I've made my peace, but before I go, I still want to know, how should a man truly live?" Pastor Sam smiled, that familiar twinkle returning to his eyes. "First, tell me, how did you live these past 7 days?" I thought for a moment. I asked for forgiveness. I forgave others. I told my family I loved them. I gave back what I had stolen. I prayed. I was present. I was alive. Did you fight with anyone? No. Did you cheat anyone? No. Did you remember God? Every single moment. Pastor Sam nodded slowly. "Then you already know how to live, son. You just lived it." My brow furrowed. "But you said I had 7 days." He chuckled softly. "Michael, every man has only 7 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's all any of us ever have. We are born into these 7 days, and we die within them. I didn't lie to you. I just helped you see the truth you were blind to." I stood there, stunned, and then, slowly, a laugh escaped my lips, a deep, joyful, liberated laugh. "You tricked me," I said. "No," Pastor Sam replied. "I woke you up." That was 32 years ago. I'm 79 now, and I've never forgotten the lesson Pastor Sam taught me that day. I never went back to the old way of living, the rushing, the chasing, the emptiness. Instead, I've lived every week like it was my last 7 days. I've loved deeply. I've forgiven quickly. I've given generously. I've prayed faithfully. And now, as my time finally draws near, I close my eyes with a smile, knowing I have truly lived.